Hi, I'm Jerry from Drake Automotive. Today I'm going to show you how to prepare and paint our newly formed convertible kick panels. These kick panels are copies of the originals. As you can see, they're formed correct, have the correct screw bosses in the back. Plus, one of the added versions of this is up here. The windlace in a factory car is supposed to fit inside, just as my finger does. The ones that used to be available by reproduction earlier did not do that. They were too narrow here, so you just have to butt the windlace up. But now, as you can see, you have plenty of room for the windlace to fit exactly inside there, just as they were from the factory. Also, you got the correct grain, and like I said, the screw bosses, so that when you screw it to your to the car, it doesn't squeeze it in and squish and flatten out this. So what I'm going to do is, these are only available in black. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to correctly prep these and paint these for years of durable service. As you can see, we're getting ready to prep our kick panels. It's always a good idea to be prepared and be safe. You're dealing with harmful chemicals such as acetone, plus the solvents and the sprays. So I do recommend wearing gloves and using, when spraying, an OSHA-approved respirator. You'll be happy you did so that night, instead of coughing up all the paint fumes. So the way we're going to start off is we have our kick panels, and kick panels are made out of plastic, so they're normally going to have petroleum-based products involved with them. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and wipe these down with an acetone. You don't need too much. Just, you want to wet your towel. You want to try to use a dust-free towel. Paper towels tend to leave lint. So what I'm going to do here is go ahead and wipe this all down and remove any of the solvents that have come to the surface. Then what you're going to do is, I use a 3M Scotch-Brite. I call them scrubbies. There's a lot of different manufacturers out there. Any of them will work. Now this has a grain on it, so you want to be very careful that you're scuffing. You're not sanding. You don't want to sand through the grain. That's why I'm not using sandpaper. You don't want to use a machine product, because otherwise what's going to happen is it's going to heat up. If you're using like a wheel, it's going to heat up. It's going to melt the plastic and ruin your kick panel. So you take your scrubby, and you'll see that it actually takes the sheen off. Like I say, you just want to go lightly. You don't want to press too hard, because you don't want to remove the grain. Make sure you get all areas. And if you can see, you'll notice that down here you still have shiny, and up here it's a duller color. That's because you've taken the sheen off the exterior protective coating. And that's what's going to help the paint adhere. You want to make sure you get around the corners, because corners are where you're normally going to, like, the door's going to close, or you're going to get in, or you're going to kick it. You want to make sure you prep really good in the corners, because you don't want that paint flaking off. Make sure you wrap around. Get the inside portion up in here too. Okay, as you can see, all the shine is gone. Now you're going to have some dust and some particles on there, so you're going to want to clean those off too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use compressed air. You can go ahead and blow it off, and then I will use the acetone again and give it a little bath, and then we'll go ahead and hang it up and prep it for paint. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn this on so we get our air going. Now with the new towel, we'll go ahead and put a little bit of acetone on there just to make sure I get any particles that are still stuck on there, then I'll blow it off one more time. Okay, now that our part is completely prepped, we're going to go ahead and I'll use coat hangers. And by the way, you want to make sure before taking your wife's good coat hangers, you ask to make sure. Trust me on that one. Just use regular coat hanger and go ahead and put it through the hole. Now you don't want to totally loop it. You kind of want to leave a little bit of space in there so that way when you're spray painting, you don't have a line caused by the coat hook. Again, make sure you're wearing protective gloves, respirator. Now the paints we're going to be using today, these are AccuMatch. You're going to want to use a self-etching primer. Very important because what this does, it actually leaches into the plastic and creates a superior bond. That way the paint will stick, not peel off, not flake off. And as far as the color, we're going to use our AccuMatch interior paint colors. A lot of people think they should be using the dyes. I always use the paint. If you're prepped properly like what we've done, you're not going to have any problem. Many colors available to match your factory Mustang colors. This one here happens to be the dark red metallic, which is specific to the 67 Ford Mustang. Self-etching primer is really important that you really shake this up very well. I've been shaking this for 3 minutes, figured you didn't need to see that. It's really important to shake it up because there's a lot of different chemicals and solids and different adhesives in here that you want to make sure you get thoroughly mixed before you paint. Also, another thing is we're using an approved spray booth. You're going to want to make sure that either you built some kind of booth with really adequate ventilation or in a very well ventilated area. And you also want to make sure that nothing else is around because you are going to get a little bit of overspray. So we'll go ahead and stick on our respirator here and we will get started. Really important, you want to get a nice, light, even coat. Don't try to put too heavy at one time. As you saw, it went really light. You could almost see through it. And then I double back over it. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to let this, what they call flash. It'll get to a point in about 5 minutes to where it'll be okay to go ahead and do another coat. We're going to do 2 coats of the primer and 2 to 3 coats of the paint, and we'll be set to go. We've gone ahead and done our second coat of primer. It's all dried. We've let it dry for about an hour now. And now we're going to go ahead and squirt on our interior paint, our AccuMatch interior paint number L5773. That's the dark red. One of the nice things about our paints is if you see on top of the cap, that's not just a dye. That's an actual painted sticker So it denotes the actual color of the paint. So it makes it easy for you to match it up. Now, we'll go ahead and shake this up. We've been shaking this a while, but we'll shake it up a little bit more, and we'll go ahead and get started. We've completed our first coat. As you see, it's kind of see-through. With the lacquer, you don't want to just lay it on, especially on a textured surface, because what's going to happen is you either get runs, or it's just going to cover the texture and not look like a factory finish. So we went ahead, we shot one coat on here. We're going to go ahead and wait about 10 minutes, and we'll go ahead and proceed with the second coat. We're back. We've gone ahead and done our second coat. One of the things you want to make sure of when you're painting stuff is you want to get the edges up in here. You think you may not be able to see it, but you never know. You'd be really disappointed to have a little black speck showing through. So make sure you get the edges a little bit overlap on the back. Make sure you get the edge down here really good, because you'll see it from both sides. Now, another thing you want to do is when you're painting, you want to make sure that you carry through. You don't want to just shh and do like that, because it's going to go on too heavy, it's going to run, it's going to mess up the texture. Nice even strokes all the way across, letting go of the trigger, and as you're coming back, bring the trigger back on, off, on, off, on, off. Go back and forth, get a nice even paint job. We're going to go ahead and do one more coat, and then we're going to be letting it dry, and we'll come back and show you what it looks like after it's done.